Good evening and welcome to the Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, and we are beginning exactly at 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome you all here. We have an exciting evening. We have some new recruits to our fire department that will be introduced by our chief. But before we do that, I would like to say that Strathmore Town Council and the town of Strathmore honors all the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. We acknowledge that the ancestral and traditional lands on which we gather are land of the Blackfoot Confederacy and Treaty 7 territory, a traditional meeting ground for many Indigenous peoples, and in particular our neighbors, Siksika Nation, on whose traditional territory we work, live, and play, and on whose traditional territory we stand and where Strathmore resides. And that brings us to item 1.1, Fire Department new recruit introductions. We have a good group of young people that we're excited to welcome to our staff and to the fire protection of our community. And I'll turn it over to our fire chief, Chief Sturgeon, for the introductions.
Thank you, Worship and Council. We're excited to be here tonight. We have 5 of the 7 new recruits here tonight, or I say new recruits, but recently graduated their 1001 Level 2 certification, so they're full certified firefighters. And so I'll call them up one at a time. I have kind of just a little blurb about kind of where they came from and how long they've been around, things like that. So the first one we have is Elaine Sharp. Come on up. Elaine moved to Strathmore in 2021 with her 3 kids. She's a single mom and was just awarded Rookie of the Year for 2022 for the fire department. She almost had a flawless attendance record for training in 2022, only missing 1 practice. Is that right?
I made it up.
And she made it up. Next, we have Simon Bradley. Simon moved to Strathmore in 2019 with his family. He was an early supporter of Adopt a Hydrant program, and he brings a wealth of knowledge from his full-time career as Task Force 2 manager. Caitlin Redicop. So Caitlin grew up west of Strathmore in Cheadle, whose family has been here for over 150 years. She's a figure in town and on the board of directors at the Vault Cultural Collective. Caitlin also works part-time for Wademza as a 911 call taker and fire dispatcher. Next, we have Benjamin Morris. So Ben and his family are huge supporters of animal rescues, and they adopt various rescue animals. Ben is very detail-oriented and brings a technical flair as he is an engineer in his full-time career. Austin Venturelli. And Austin moved to Strathmore as a young child. He's lived here for almost 25 years. Over the past 9 years, he's been working with nonprofit homeless sector, focusing on supporting those within our communities who are most in need. And for the future, he aspires to be a full-time firefighter, hopefully in Strathmore. And then we have 2 more that couldn't be with us tonight. We have Rebecca Voisin. Rebecca couldn't be with us, but she's a single mom with 2 children, works as a massage therapist, is currently taking her primary care paramedic course, and aspires also to be a full-time firefighter. And then we have Richard Reynolds, so I call him Young Richard. He's very young. He couldn't be with us as he just started his apprenticeship at SAIT. He is stepping away from the department to pursue his career in the trades. We're happy that we could work with Richard to help him to achieve his goals. And then lastly but not least is Kimball Yorston. So a lot of you may know Kimball, but Kimball is kind of the brains behind the operation. Get up here. So Kimball's responsible for training all of our new recruits. It's roughly a 14-month program where they come in basically fresh off the street, don't need any training whatsoever, and Kimball takes them from day 1 all the way to the very end, gets them their full certification, works with everyone tirelessly, I would say, over the year and a bit, and resulted in having these 7 members just recently graduate. And he's just started with 5 more members for 2023. So it's an ever-evolving door, and we're very appreciative for what he brings to the table. And that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief. And again, I'd like to welcome the new recruits to the town staff and to being a part of our community as far as fire support. I know it's a great sacrifice of time with your families, and you do so many great things in our community to protect people, but also to support the town in its many events, and you'll become strong role models for our young people in the community. We saw that when we ran the fire department's summer camp, when you folks did that so well. So once again, thank you and welcome. And that brings us to the agenda. At this time, I'd like to confirm the agenda. Are there any emergent items from any of the councillors? Seeing and hearing none. Anything from admin or ledge services?
You can tell them they don't.
And for all the new recruits, we definitely don't want to punish you by having you stay longer than you have to. So save yourselves at any time. Kara, nothing from admin? Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And so at this time, I'm looking for a motion to confirm Deputy Mayor Peterson.
Your Worship, I would move that Council adopt the January 11th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting agenda as presented.
Thank you. You've all heard the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion is carried. We have no delegations tonight other than the recruit introductions, which brings us to 4.1, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes for December 14th, 2022. Councillor Langmaid.
Your Worship, I would move that Council adopt the December 14th, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes as presented.
Thank you, almost Deputy Mayor. And we'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that motion is carried. Item 5, business. We have no new business tonight. Item 6, question and answer period. I have one for our CAO, Mr. Scoville. Could you update us on the Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce and our representation? We had talked in the past about possibly not having a town councillor on that board. Can you just update us on latest developments? Thank you.
Thank you, through the chair. So as I understand, currently Councillor Mitzner is still a member of the chamber. I guess new developments are Angela Greneveld, our economic development officer, is meeting, attending once a month and providing a town economic development update. And then perhaps a bit of a surprise to the mayor, but we've also committed you and I to an annual meeting with the chamber too, to talk about strategy and things like that. So that's the current status. As to whether a councillor remains on the chamber could be subject to further discussions, I guess, in the future, if that's something that council's interested in discussing further with the chamber.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. Are there any other councillors who have questions or answers for us? Seeing and hearing none, that brings us to the closed meeting. I'm looking for a motion to go in camera. Deputy Mayor Peterson.
Your Worship, I would move that Council move in camera to discuss items related to sections 21, subsection 1B, and 24, section 1, subsection A of the Freedom of Information Protection of Privacy Act at 6:10 p.m.
Thank you. You've all heard the motion. All in favor? And at home?
Aye.
We are going in camera at 6:10. Thank you. Jonathan, I'll wait for your signal.